Now, 1 minute can be long, so we got to point. That's the biggest problem. The reason we do 1 minute is because you're going to get caught somewhere, and someone's going to ask you a question, and they want an answer. And you can't just sit there and dilly-dally. Now, what I would say is, I don't know the answer yet, but I'll get back to you. But a lot of people don't do that. So 1 minute, and then 1.5 minutes at the end to convince you that they're the very best candidate. Okay? Any questions from you?
Yeah, where do the questions come from?
Me and anybody in the audience that wants to give me a question. What I did was watch a bunch of your city council meetings and find out what kind of issues are hitting down here. And I hope I had them right. I don't want to do the same one for everyone, because you have different problems. Okay, we'll start with Shauna. You have 2 minutes. Our timekeepers are right here. The purple paddle will go up, it's 30 seconds left. The yellow paddle will go up and you have to stop. And we do make you stop.
Okay.
Because that's unfair. Okay? All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Shauna Flinders.
Oh, wait a minute, there's a mic.
Sorry.
You rebate me too. Just around here.
Thank you.
Yes, now we can.
All right, I'm Shauna Flinders, and I'm running for city council for this 4-year seat. I've lived in Riverdale for about 7 years now, but I was born and raised in North Ogden and lived in Washington Terrace for a short time. So I know the area well and love it. I have 5 children and 4 grandchildren. And I'm really running at this time because I'm obviously, with everything going on, I'm concerned about the future. I'm concerned about my kids and my grandkids and what the city's going to be like for them to raise their families. I know a lot of people have been talking about housing and the apartments and single family homes. So I think I'm running at this time to try and help keep our little town the way our families would want it to be. And I'm running because I just think that Riverdale is a great place. And I think that there's some differing opinions. I'm excited to see, I would be excited to see new people running. So I'm the only one here that is new. And it's just something that I think it's important to have a woman's opinion and a grandmother and a mother. And so that's really why I'm here. So I hope you vote for me. Thanks.
My name's Stacy Hawes, and I'm currently a council person. I was appointed in January of 2024 to fulfill the unexpired seat of Councilmember Hilton, who passed away. I previously served on the council from 2004 to 2008, and during that time had a chance to get a very deep dive on the financial aspects of the city, how taxes work and how the city reaps the taxes from the commercial and from properties. At that time, there was a change in the distribution of sales taxes, and I worked hard to get the city into a position that they would be able to weather the storm that was coming on. After I left, there were changes that allowed the city a little more flexibility, but are going to be running out soon. And I would like to be able to help the city get back into into a situation where we won't have to cut hard to be able to provide the benefits that the citizens deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And any of you are welcome to stand if you wish.
I'm Ken Anderson, and I've chosen to run for city council. Because as a citizen of Riverdale City, I've been a lifelong citizen, born and raised here. So I've been with the city, living in the city for well over 70 years. We've raised our family here. We have 6 children, 5 boys and a girl. So I've got a basketball team and a cheerleader. And they're all very active, and they were raised in an environment, as was I, in an environment that was welcoming. Everyone knew each other. They were engaged and invested in one another. That's the type of community that I'd like to see us continue to have. So that Riverdale right now has finite resources as far as being able to develop. It's going to be a challenge in the years ahead. And so it's going to take thoughtful preparation. We need to be attentive as to the developments that come. Doesn't mean that we turn away every commercial development or every residential development. We need to be able to have the type of developments that appeal to a broad spectrum of our citizens. We want our citizens to stay here. We want it to be a place that they are welcome and feel like they are vested in the city and want to participate in the organizations that we have. So that means that, yes, we will need to have some kind of apartments in order to be able to accommodate those coming into the housing market. We need to have residential homes for families to establish their homes in. And then we need to have the type of residences that our citizens can transition to.
Thank you. Okay, sorry.
Still got a little bit here. So we want to be able to have the type of housing that fits all stages of life.
Great.
She's holding up the spot.
That was for me.
Oh, that's for him.
She's holding it.
Oh, she'll hold it up.
Oh.
I thought she
It's not
had
held up, it's laying down.
it. She'll put it over her head.
Okay. All right, I'll begin now. Mark Stevens. Grew up in the area, grew up in Roy. Went in the military, served in the Marine Corps active duty, traveled the country, got to see the world and all those fun things. My wife and I settled here, bought a home 30 plus years ago, raised our 5 children here. But 20 plus years ago, actually the whole time we were here, we were very concerned about a lot of the development that was happening on Riverdale Road, because that's when a lot of major things are happening. And so because I'm gonna get involved. And so I got on the planning commission, served there 8 years. Was speaking from the background, so I said, I'm gonna run for council. So I ran for council. I'm in my 2nd term, and I value my voice and my vote. That's why I serve, so I can have a voice and a vote on how things are happening and what comes up. Now, we have a lot of issues that are pertinent right now, from our public safety, our finances, development. Now, we don't have a lot of space left for development. It's gonna be a lot of redevelopment. We're gonna be seeing here in the future, such as the old RC Willie building. We don't know we've had people looking at it. Is that gonna be redeveloped, torn down into something else, or is that gonna be somebody else remodeled? We don't know. So there's redevelopment and there's development, but it's being involved to know what we can do, because they're not making any land anymore. And the Air Force asked the city, or asked the state to buy up the easement in that south end, so you can't build there because of the airflow for the runway. And so there's limited options as far as development goes. And thank you.
Okay, we'll start with Stacy. Sorry, I have to sit down because my back is not what it should be. Your city is very busy, and the roads are used a great deal more than in most cities. Not all of them, but the major ones. Name a specific thing that you believe needs to be put in place to keep those roads up to standard?
I think that we're doing a couple of really good things right now. The state has decided to replace the bridge over I-15 on 4400 South, which is going to be a very good flow, create great flow for us. And the thing I think that we need to work on is getting the interior flow to work better. Things like 700 West, make sure that it remains a keep 4400 up to date and road that needs to be considered very much.
Along those lines, that's been one of my key interests with the city, is we have Riverdale Road and 31st Street, which are our primary accesses through the city. My concern is I feel like that we need to have additional access to offload those so that we aren't overloaded and creating more problems and havoc for public safety and those who come in and out of the city. I would entertain having, whether this is in conjunction with surrounding cities, but I'd like to explore having additional access through the southern part of Riverdale so that it doesn't interfere with the residences there, but that it allows additional ingress and egress through the city. I'd also like to see the city develop along Riverdale Road so that it's a pleasant and enjoyable place so that as you pass through, it isn't challenging, it's something to enjoy.
Would you repeat the question, please?
Your city's very busy and the roads are used a great deal more than most cities. I mean, a specific thing that you think needs to be put into place to keep those up to standard, the roads up to standard.
Okay, when you're talking roads, there's two entities involved. There's UDOT, which owns the state roads. Like Riverdale Road is owned and repaired and maintained by UDOT. And so we have what I consider to be a very good relationship with UDOT so that we can call up and say, we think this, or they say, we want to do this. We say, that might not be a good idea because we know the traffic patterns, we know things. And we don't always win, they don't always, but we have a good working relationship. Now, the other issue is the surface streets owned by Riverdale. And we budget for those to be maintained. So, traffic patterns being what they are, road repairs, by UDOT is forcing a lot into the city, and that's why it's such a mess right now. And this is temporary, but Riverdale Road has been maxed out its usage for a long time. And there are things they explore.
Thank you. I have to say, I'm not on the city council, so I don't know all the answers right now, but I too have watched a lot of the city council meetings. And, I'm aware that the state has some control of how the traffic patterns go. But I have to agree with Kent that I feel like we do need another access probably on that other side because Riverdale Road and 31st Street get so busy. I don't have a specific answer for it, but I agree with these guys, and I will tell you that when I get in there, I will do my duty to research everything. I have full time to put into being on the city council, so I will make sure I have the answers.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start with Kent. One of the issues that were brought up by citizens that they're concerned about is the rise in violent crime in Riverdale.
Microphone?
Especially over that. Are they flying F-35s tonight or what? One of the issues is.
Is it Utah?
Yes, they're flying in food products, yes. One of the issues that some of the citizens were concerned about is the rise in violent crime that's happening in Riverdale and in a lot of other cities as well. What do you believe the problem is, and name an idea that might help?
I don't know that I have a full answer to that, because I don't know that there is one specific area that's the problem. One thing that I do recognize is that Riverdale City has an effective police force. They're doing everything within their power to be able to mitigate and have these issues not be quite so serious. But every community is going to have this when you pack this many people in a small area. Riverdale has probably one of the best police forces as far as per capita ratio. We're high, but Riverdale has the response time to be able to address these things quickly and promptly to be able to protect its citizens. We have police officers that are patrolling the streets. They're doing everything within their power to be able to mitigate that and make sure that it isn't a problem.
Okay, you asked the question, violent crime. Now, we have occasionally, we have a major business area, and every month we get, in our packet, it's plotted out where crimes that are reported happen and what the incident was. And it's almost exclusively in the business areas. And the quote unquote violent is from not people from Riverdale. It spills into Riverdale. So what can we do? We have a very good police department. We budget because police officers are a premium. They're hard to keep unless you keep them, give them opportunities, pay them the going rate, and so on and so forth. But to maintain that is community policing, keeping our police force at its peak, which we have done for a good number of years now, at least 8 years that I've been involved, to make that a priority for our whole public safety.
I have to say that I agree with all these guys, that our police are incredible. They come and do meetings with the community, and they're great. I don't know that there's a ton of violent crime in Riverdale. I don't think I've heard that in talking to the community, but I do think that our police department is great, and I think that they're doing a great job in taking care of that.
I would have thought that violent crime was not a huge issue in Riverdale, because basically like Councilor Stevens said, we get a report each month and from the police, and it's mostly commercial crime. It's mostly theft, shoplifting, and that kind of stuff. However, anybody who's been paying attention, there was 2 murders fairly recently in Riverdale. Both of those involved domestic violence. The one up in Tremont, that was also an issue of domestic violence. I think that we need to become more neighborly. We need to be looking out for our neighbors. We need to be watching what we can do for them. The police each year have parties for the citizens, and we need to get to know them. They're great guys.
Thank you.
Under the mic.
There you go. Development is everywhere, as you well know. Development is everywhere, and things are popping up right and left all over the place, and then some people are leaving. Have you met your 10% from the legislature of dense housing? And what do you picture the housing to look like in Riverdale in the next year or two?
What do you mean 10%? What does that refer
You have
to?
to, 10% of your land has to be high density.
Oh.
From the legislature
It's not high
decides.
density.
Yeah, they tell you what to do
Okay.
on land you, they don't have any room to put it in, but that's okay.
Okay, I am a person that I'm a owner occupied. I am a true believer in owner occupied. Now, not everybody wants to be, put in condos or townhouses that are owner occupied. They want to do rentals. So be it. Yes, we do. We have met that or are meeting it because we've designated and we've got developers who are looking at it. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of room for that. We have zoned some areas, one area that went from commercial to high density that gives the occupants a beautiful view of the railroad tracks. And so, because we just don't have the room, we don't have the space. We're essentially built out. Like I said earlier, there's that area to the south that has the easement. You can't put in residents because of the runway. Now, yes, we have that in place and it's being built and it's coming. Where there's not a lot, other areas have a lot going on.
I live on the south side, and I love that I'm seeing single family homes going in where Coleman went. If anything had happened with that, I think was a great decision. So I applaud those who've been on the city council for that. And yeah, I would love to see some townhomes and, some mid-level housing to go with what, I know we need to have some apartments. And I believe that area where the trailer court used to be is designated for that. So I think we're doing a great job, and I from what I can see, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think that we do currently have a significant amount of high density. We do have a number of apartment complexes within the city. We have a couple of areas that are more townhome areas. And like Councilor Stevens said, there isn't a lot left to be built out. So hopefully we can continue to develop the developable land into places that are nice, that are welcoming, and that will continue to encourage owner-occupied residences that will be able to hopefully keep the city very well stocked with a housing supply.
Ms. McCullough, could you repeat the question again so that
Yes.
it seemed like there was a
Development's going everywhere, and did you meet your 10% high density, which I've heard? And with that comes a lot of different problems. How do you visualize Riverdale to look in 5-10 years?
I know what my vision of Riverdale what I would like to see it look like. There are appropriate places where you can place housing. I think that we need to maintain distance in putting regular homes further away from the commercial district. But near the commercial district is a good place for us to be able to consider higher density type of properties. Not everybody's gonna wanna live next to the Sinclair station, where the old Leslie's trailer park is, in a regular home. So apartment buildings would be appropriate there. Sitting on the planning commission, we just had a development that was recently proposed. It's still in the planning phases, but it'll provide for additional townhomes that I never really envisioned there. So I think that we're looking at opportunities to be selective and making good choices as to where we place these types of developments.
And that leads right into the next question. Tell me what you believe controlled, sustained growth looks like.
I think controlled, sustained growth is that we very carefully look at every proposal that comes in. I think we need to make sure that we are getting our commercial leveled out with how many homes we have. And like you said, keeping those places where they should be. I I know that there's a lot of traffic through here, so I'm hoping to see some more boutique type businesses come in. And so that we kind of make Riverdale more of a destination for shopping, and we keep our residential, the nice quiet neighborhoods that they are right now.
I think that inviting great growth. I mean, we have very limited access, development left to do. Therefore, I think that working on keeping the current areas up to standard, there are places in the city that have fallen off as far as the how good they are. Some of the commercial areas because of the economy have the places have emptied. I think we need to be thinking about bringing in commercial that will be sustainable for the future.
I agree with what a lot has already been said. The sustainable growth and control needs to be intentional and deliberate. We need to make sure that the businesses that we're bringing into the city, that we're not overloading on certain specific segments. Because as they compete with one another, there seems to be turnover, and then you have vacant storefronts. So you need to be selective in choosing the right types of developments that are coming in so that they're sustainable for those businesses, because we need to support those businesses within the city by attracting the type of developments that will support them, their enterprise, as they support the city. So it just needs to be intentional.
Repeat the question. Describe what controlled, sustained growth is.
Okay, she used the word control. I don't like the word control. I like the word manage. You can manage the growth. And that's what city councils and city government does, is manage it through zoning and different things. One, city government does not have right to say, we don't want you, we want you. That's no. It's private money that brings in businesses. It's private money that develops. It's not government. The city doesn't do that. And so that's why we manage. And so we have a phenomenal good community development person that is very good and very capable of helping people. So because for every 100 people who make an inquiry, maybe one actually comes to fruition to have a development or redevelopment in our area. Now, maintaining that has been, again, a priority. We have some very good people, very talented people who work those issues to maintain that.
We'll start with Stacy. You have a general plan. When was the last time you visited it? Or have you read it? And does it need to be updated?
Yes, we have a general plan. I have reviewed it. I reviewed it when I first got reappointed to the council. It has been being worked on previously. We are, it is a work in progress. We always are looking at it, looking to see what can be changed, what needs to be changed based on the economics and based on what is going on with the city, what people are bringing in, what people want to do with their land. Ultimately, the land is privately owned, and we are there to help guide and to manage things, not control. So making sure that the general plan is updated and continues to be updated is our goal.
Yes, I've seen the plan. Yes, I've been working on developing the plan with the Planning Commission. And so we have engaged in reviewing all of those different aspects that are within the zoning and with where we're looking to place development. We're currently reviewing those kinds of things to see if there is overlay so that we aren't having duplicate issues or duplicate zoning areas that should really be consolidated into one type instead of having two different types. So it is a growth product that we have to continually review and make sure that we're keeping up with the changing needs of the citizens and the city. And unfortunately, well, I'm not gonna go there. But sometimes the state can be onerous on us.
Okay, yes, yes, I've read it, I've seen it, I've been involved in it. Went through a review recently with the last couple of years, to update it, make sure it's fits. Our general plan is in concordance with, state requirements and all that kind of stuff. Now, having that in place is huge because people come in and want to do something that is outside of the scope of an area that is really very, it's great to have that general plan in place. Now, somebody talked about the motor you drive in, but the state attorney general's office is the one who enforces the easement for the runway, the law enforcement base. They came in and in the motor view, there was a little section of that was inside that easement area, and they came in and made them reshuffle so that it's, I mean, there are some very strict requirements that are in place.
I haven't looked at the plan completely. I have looked into it and I kind of know the zoning, but I know that like North Ogden just redid their entire plan. I'm developing a property up there and they've redone their entire zone plan just recently. And I hope that we're keeping up with it. I know that we've had a lot of the same people doing it for many, many years. So I hope that they're doing what everyone in the city wants. So I hope if I'm elected, I can get in there and see if everything's being caught up with what the actual citizens want. I'd love to review that.
What is cyber kidnapping?
You want to know the question or?
No, I'm just asking, I guess it's stealing people's information. I found something with a question related to that you had some cyber kidnapping going on.
Are you doing this for, might be timed or is this just?
No, just tell me what it is.
Microphone.
Cyber kidnapping, we had an incident, was it last year or a year and a half ago, where a foreign exchange student who had language, some barriers, was from people out of the area or essentially gave him, we're trying to essentially information which wasn't correct, but he had no way to verify of his family who was in his home country. Unless he did something, and that was, so he did as it was tormenting. And so it's a matter of finding him and getting him the right information as, and again, nobody really could see what he was seeing because it was done cyber.
Thank you, I'm not gonna answer this question because it doesn't sound like it's something that happens every day.
No, in fact, our police department gave him some kudos. Went public. They had a lot of, from far-flung places that came give him information. And two of our police officers went to the FBI training academy or whatever to give them what to look for and what happened and what transpired.
In Little Riverdale.
That's great.
But that doesn't sound like you do, that happens every day.
No, hope not.
Okay.
Microphone.
Oh.
There you
I thought
go.
I was using my teacher voice. If something is brought before the council that one specific or two specific people are either promoting or they're against it, what is your proper protocol to handle that?
By people, do you mean council members?
No, citizens.
Citizens?
By people, do you mean council members or
What the
citizens?
council members, what should citizens?
If two people, you said.
Oh,
If two
no, if
council
it's
members,
two people on the council that have a
two council
specific,
members are
you know,
promoting
you
it,
want something or you don't want
how to
something,
handle the
how do you
conflict
handle
of
that?
interest?
Level disagreements.
Conflict of interest.
Not necessarily conflict of interest, but conflict of opinions.
Right.
Okay,
Well, if they're promoting it, they got an interest in it.
That's all.
So it is a conflict of interest.
okay. My employment over the last 40 years was mitigating and helping people to resolve issues. I worked in the financial sector, and so trying to bridge and get people to come together, making opportunities for us to see both sides. There's value. I have learned so much from the people that I've worked with that actually changed my opinion once we communicated. But it was because we chose to communicate with one another. And sometimes that causes us to step back. But as we do so, our paradigms can shift and we can see things in a different light. So whether it's coming from citizens or whether it's coming from council members, there's always something to be learned. And as long as we're open, we can come together and find good solutions. Okay.
All right. To answer your question, our council, if somebody wants to come before the council, we have open mind. Now, no action will be taken. They can express their views, issues, whatever. And more often than not, the issue is just pointing them to the right department head to resolve the issue. Now, if it's a systemic or a lot of things, then it gets more involved, to the point where we can address it towards the council. But if it's not on the agenda, we're not going to talk about it at a council meeting. But if you have two people that have an issue, and you want to put something on the agenda, it's easy to do. You just need to have it ahead of time so that nobody's surprised and you don't bring up stuff that is a surprise to most of the people there. And so it's just we had one Stacy brought up recently, and it was, okay, we dealt with it. It's a lot of times just talking it through and coordinating it and incorporating it so that it can be reviewed.
I have experience working. Lived in California for 16 years and was on the school board, and I worked in management. And I agree that it's important just to have that communication and to be open. I never go into anything with a firm belief. I'm always open to other people's opinion, and I think it's important to do that. And I just think that it's really important to communicate. I think it's important to be open, and hopefully we have a lot of differing opinions, and we can help figure out problems a little better that way.
The city council does have rules, like Councilman Stevens said, about bringing things onto the agenda. It requires 2 council members, or the mayor or the city administrator can put things on the agenda. When they end up on the agenda, then we are able to talk about them openly and discuss them and come to a decision. It's very rare that we find that something is so controversial or hot topic that we either don't want to address it or that the rest of the council doesn't want to address it. So I don't see that there's a real issue with the council that I've seen while I've been on the council.
Okay, that's gonna take me to the next question.
Did you start that?
What kinds of things do you think we need to do in Riverdale to no one can get citizens involved in these? So what kind of new, different, creative things could you do to try to get citizens to come out and feel part of whatever the decisions are? What kind of things can you bring in to try to get the public?
How can you get better public
Okay.
involvement?
How do you get your people there?
public involvement in the decision-making process.
Right.
Unfortunately, a lot of times if it's negatively impacts people, then they get involved.
Yes.
How do you get people to proactively get involved? That's the question for the ages. Now, what we have done in the past is we promote and we put out for, when we have open mics and different things for input. And the vast majority of the time, there's nobody that has input, because a lot of times it's in the weeds and it doesn't personally impact them. So we put out the word, we get out the word. Now we have, as far as, unless it personally impacts them, like something's going in the backyard or something of that nature. Now, Trader Joe's is gonna open, but boy, we got some great public input on that one. But, that was a lot going on there. But on day-to-day routine stuff, that's why you have council members who manage and are up to speed on all this kind of stuff.
I think that this is actually one of the reasons why I'm running for city council, is because I would love to see more people get involved in government and be involved with the city. I think to some degree, the people I've talked to feel maybe a little shut out, just in the fact that it's kind of been the same people for many years that are on city council. They go from maybe city council to the planning commission, and I don't know that people feel like their opinion really counts, or that they're going to have an opportunity, because there's a little group maybe. So I hope that maybe by running, I can show some people that you can get involved, and hopefully you can get in and get some more people involved in our city council and our planning commission. Be great.
Raise taxes more often and get more apartments in the city. That would keep people coming every week. I think that one of the things that I found was very interesting when I first got on the council was that about 90% or more of the votes are unanimous. They're not divisive issues. They are, a lot of times there are things that the council really doesn't have the authority, unless they can find some specific reason why they can deny it, they can't deny it. And so, there are just only a few things that become controversial. The budget is one. I wish that more people would get involved earlier in the budget. Early involvement is really the big thing.
One thing that I've observed is the city's already doing a fairly good job at the initial stages. There are surveys that are sent out to the citizens requesting their input. The more involvement that you can get from the citizens with what their desires are can help stoke that interest into other areas that we can form committees. If we find out that there are individuals who have a desire to develop the Riverwalk so that it's more accessible to ADA, and so that everyone can go down there and enjoy that and sit and relax, you find those people through a survey, then you incorporate them on a committee. The city's already doing a pretty good job at attempting to do that, but I agree with all that's been said, because trying to get them, unless it's a critical issue, is difficult.
Pretty much understood you. Okay, tell me your definition of what transparency is. What is transparency to you?
I think transparency is basically just being open and clear in every incident. I think that if I get on the city council, I think that they need to be open about every single project that's going through, make sure that the citizens are well aware of everything that's going on and who's involved in it, and just communication, I think, is the most important thing, and to be very honest and upright in what you're doing honesty all the time.
When I was on the council the first time, one of the things that I pushed for was for recording of the city council meetings. At the time, live streaming was not a thing yet. And so by the time I got off the council, they were recording them audio and posting them on the city's website. Now it's great that they have the city council meetings open online through the YouTube channel. And I think that that is a great opportunity for transparency. I would like to, one of the things that I don't like is, personally, is the fact that the city council has a pre-meeting, where we're only supposed to be discussing what the agenda is about, not what the agenda is. And I think that we need to do a better job of not discussing things in that meeting.
Okay, for those of you that are viewing on Facebook or listening, my apologies because I'm reverting back to my former employer, but it's personal ownership and responsibility. Those are the core values that lead to transparency. It's taking ownership. If you have a hard question, admitting that you may not know the answers, but that you're willing to dig and find out. That's what we're being evaluated for, is if we're willing to be able to step up, investigate, research, and have the answers to make the best decisions for the city and the citizens. So owning it and being responsible and not backing away, but taking the hard questions.
Okay, I'm gonna use a different word that I think is synonymous with transparency, and that's education. Is that if you are taking an opportunity to educate what the issue is, what the parameters are, what the pros and cons are, that the transparency it becomes evident. And so if by education, by talking through what the issue is and making it apparent. Now, we have, everything is in a packet. And there's a guy in the back there who's the enforcer, because there's the sunshine rules that says if you have 3 councilmen, it has to be a meeting that's advertised in advance and everything. So as we're leading our meeting, he keeps the huddles away, because if you have 3 council members and the microphone's off, that's a council meeting, and he's out there saying, no, that's untransparent. So it's education, it is keeping people informed of what the issues are.
Okay, one more question. The water infrastructure here has some citizens, I noticed, that were concerned with sewage leakage. What plans are already in place to take care of that, and do you have the infrastructure to be able to do that?
What part of this?
It's water pressure. It's the
I think I know.
It's not like sewage.
Industrial.
Elena has it too.
I think that we have a great system for both getting the clean water to the citizens and getting the dirty water away. It is aging infrastructure, and we are planning to refurbish things as time goes on. We used to have, most of our water used to be provided by wells, and one of our wells was not producing correctly, and we had to start buying more of our water from Weaver Basin water. And so we have worked to get that incorporated and be able to provide that water to everyone who needs it.
I don't know if I'm going off in the weeds on this, but the city is doing its best to make sure that we're providing services. I don't have the background information that some of the council members might have. Your question led me to wonder if it was in regards to the East Bench where we had the slide off. That was never really fully determined, culpability of who was responsible for that. There were a lot of players, but we don't know specifically and can't point to one specific thing saying, aha, here it is. But I do know the city has the staff that when an issue arises, they are on it immediately. And that's one of the great things about Riverdale City is that we've got some of the best employees addressing these concerns.
Our public works is great, they're very proactive. And one of the things that is happening is, with the West Bench, there is a huge upgrade to a 12-inch sewer line. That was the question, was the sewer. It's a new sewer line that, I mean, it's because what was, the growth has outpaced the sewer lines that are there in some areas. And when there's, something happens like a water leak or a bad storm or something, it can disrupt temporarily. And that is, I think, was what the issue, and it was resolved very quickly. Now, were those patch jobs? Yes. Is there, in the budget to do whole lines? Absolutely. And they do sleeves, and there's a lot of technology, modern technology that's involved in so that is, but it has to be budgeted and it has to be done when the weather is appropriate. But our public works is very proactive in public thinking.
I don't know about the sewer lines, but I am on the south side. All these guys are on the north side, but I'm on the south side. And I know that we have a water pressure issue on our side. And so a lot of the constituents, a lot of the people on the south side are concerned about their water pressure. They've replaced 12 sprinkler systems to be able to get enough pressure to water and some stuff like that. So that is something that I would probably look into. But I am sure that we have a great, system, and that we have great people working in our public works.
I'm gonna ask you one question now. Tell me in one word what you will bring to Riverdale that would make someone want you to be in office. One word, one word.
Integrity.
Service.
Competence.
It's okay.
I just the newness, a new voice.
Okay.
Not one word.
Okay, now you have a minute and a half to tell us how wonderful you are and why we should vote for you. I believe one of you two. Dan.
Oh, mercy. I have a hard time selling myself. But here I go. I'm doing this because I want to see the city maintain the environment that I grew up in. I want it to be an inviting community. The people, as they drive through Riverdale, that they enjoy that, and that it isn't something that they dread trying to get through Riverdale to get wherever they're going. I want to see Riverdale be the type of community that draws people back home. This is where they want to stay. And in doing so, it's going to take a great effort to be able to make sure that we're doing making the right choices and meeting the needs for the citizens. I will do everything within my power to study, to prepare, and to make sure that I find the answers necessary to make quality decisions. I will work to make sure that all voices are heard and considered. We feel like we have a bit of a disenfranchisement with those on the East Bench. I want to make sure that they have an opportunity to be heard. On the Planning Commission, I worked to make sure that we had representation from the East Bench so that all of our citizens are represented. And that's what I intend to commit to and to bring as I serve. And so I hope that you'll consider me.
Thank you for the opportunity thank you for putting this on. With my experience, on the planning commission and on the council, and the years of time that I've been involved, in learning the issues, because knowing all the nuances of the city and having, through 2 previous campaigns, the first one I knocked on over 1,700 doors, trying to meet people, and I saw the city. And the second time, it was during COVID, and I did the same thing, but I didn't knock the doors because I couldn't, you know. But the point of it is by in my experience, you'll learn all the nuances that make up what happens and what needs to go into and what needs to be considered, and then listen to those who are impacted, because really, things are regional, things are a neighborhood. When you say what Riverdale, well, the impact of where I live, as opposed on the south side or in the north end or on the east bench, has a different view based on how it impacts them. And so what I bring and what I would hope that you would want to keep me on the council is because I bring a lot of experience and, keeping fiscal priorities, what they need to be to maintain the safety, the vitality, the thriving, wonderful place that we call home. It's Riverdale.
I hope that you will consider me. Wow, we got light. I love Riverdale. I am excited about the city and love the people that are here. I think that I bring a new and different voice to the city council. I do appreciate all of the experience and the years and years of time that these guys have put in. I think they've done a great job. Also, I think it's important to let new people in and to, I think that the forefathers intended for people to come in and serve and do a great job and then go back to their job and to allow new voices and new thoughts and new ideas to come into our cities. So I think I bring a voice for the South Side. I'm on the other side, and I hope that you'll give me an opportunity. I think it's important to let people see that there's not a little club in Riverdale, and that people are welcome to come in and be new and run for office. And I will put in all of the time and effort that I possibly can. I have full time to invest into this, and I will dig into all the information. I will read all of the materials, and I hope you'll vote for me.
I'm like Kent. I hate to ask people for their vote. It is such an important thing. I'm running because I think that I can do a very good job. I look to my sides and I think these people can do very good jobs as well. It's a difficult choice. I hope that I've been able to provide information that helps people make a decision, and that hopefully their decision will be to support me. I also agree that city council serving the city should not be a endure to the end type thing. We need new voices. We need to get some things shifted up a little bit sometimes to make sure that everybody's voice is heard and that we get the best things that we can. Before I got on the city council, well, while I was between my times on the city council, I was very involved in the city Facebook page of citizens, and I was considered a rabble rouser. Since I've been on the city council, I have tried to pull back from that, not wanting to use that voice too heavily. But I still think that more people need to get involved, and I hope you'll consider my voice as one of them.
Thank you, and I have to tell you, I appreciate the fact that you are here, and the people in the audience should thank you. A round of applause. They're putting their life out there for you to look at, and sometimes that's not fun. So, thank you so much for coming. If you have a question for anyone, just go right ahead and ask them. Oh, I forgot to tell you, there is a card over there. I don't know if you're around a lot of people who are not registered to vote, and they should register to vote. Your best bet now is online. And you gotta hurry. But there's a card over there called Vote 411, and there's a little QR code in the corner. So if you've got kids at home that aren't registered, or somebody in your neighborhood that you think, oh, maybe they'll vote for me if I can get them registered, please take one of those cards and have them use the QR code, which the kids love, and get registered. It also has a place where you can go and the candidates have answered some questions, so you can get to know them a little bit. Either one of those, that card's good for that, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say that louder.
Get out, everybody!
Okay, now you can move. Thank you so much. Did I tell you?
You did a great job.
Guys,
I would hope so.
thank you.
You bet.
They're all very good. They are good. Because everyone I've been with have good,
Sad I only have one.
hard-working people. And smart. I don't know everything, but I do. I really know that. And maybe if I have to take something.
Well done, Ken. Well done, Stacy. Well done, Sean.
So when they said.
See what it looked like.
Look at it,
But I just appreciate that. Yeah, we love doing that. Thank you. And then
Yes, nobody really understood that concept.
I was there.
If you're bringing something.
Yeah.
There was a female named Debbie Hall. She's still there.
Well,
I know who she is.
She was short.
She wasn't, she's not there anymore.
She was.
Everybody's leaving, including I.
I was out there. I was in trouble. You're president. I was president of Trump. Oh, that's.